most controversial metal opinions, aka hot metal takes, spicy opinions, whatever you want to call them. I thought it would be fun to go over what I consider my controversial opinions and what you guys do too. So headbang the like button, stage dive on the subscribe button, and windmill the video to your friends. If you're a fan of the channel and you'd like to show your support, consider becoming a member. Memberships are only 99 cents a month, and each one really helps me toward my goal of creating a life-size Godzilla to invade Canada. My first controversial opinion regarding heavy metal is that a lot of current day metal's whole be true to yourself, don't take any shit, like be independent, think for yourself, stand up and like be proud is horseshit. Nowadays, it's been morphed into like what metal started as a free expression, and that has been morphed into basically a commercial aspect of the business. And I say that because I see all the time bands on stage saying that type of shit, being like, throw your fist up if you don't give a fuck, and like, don't take shit from anyone. And they are completely soullessly obedient to their managers, to their record label, to their own fans many times. If they have a really shit fan base that's, you know, jumps up like Spirit Box when they got harassed when they got announced for going on tour with Falling in Reverse, and their fans like chastise them off the tour. Shit like that. This happens all the time, more than you would fucking think, honestly. So much of the metal scene nowadays, I mean, you could argue maybe it always was, maybe it just got worse or changed over time, but a lot of it is so fucking conformist. This band going up on stage saying like, don't take shit from anyone, think for yourself, like blah 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 blah. That band goes backstage and gets whipped by their record label, and then the fans are all like, fuck yeah. And then one person in that crowd says something that wasn't approved of by the audience, and then they all turn and swarm and attack them. Not even that. Someone just says like, hey, I think of this differently, as I've experienced in my comment sections often. Yeah, a lot of metalheads talk about welcoming everybody, being independent, not being a conformist, when they're just falling right in their own little line. It might not be the most mainstream, vanilla, noticeable one, but it still is just another herd going along. And that's not to say everybody, you know, there's always exceptions to basically everything, but this is not me saying like all of metalhead is fucking like this, but see a lot of it, unfortunately. And it makes a lot of that whole be true to yourself aspect of metal nowadays kind of come off as a shtick, which a lot of times it is. Be yourself, just like us, or else. That's a fucking great way to put that, seriously. Oh my fucking god, I didn't put this on my list, but the bassist, thank you. I am going to go off on a tangent right now that I did not plan. Look, Liquid Death has neat cans. They work with metal bands. Neato. It's water. They sell water. They sell overpriced aluminum tasting water. I don't give a fuck if they worked with Gate Creeper or whoever, Obituary, Undeath, whatever. I am not paying extra for aluminum water. This is the fucking most ridiculous shit I have ever seen. I get it's funny, it's neat, it's a gag. That's it. How did this gag company become worth like fucking billions of dollars? People buy cases of Liquid Death at shows and shit they have. It's fucking water. Would you buy a metal box of air that was sponsored by Crypta or fucking Iron Maiden or whatever? Wait, Liquid Death is water? Soylent Green is people. They turned those cans into can-do. Exactly. You know, like, I understand the business side of it, and credit where it's due for them. It's water. Liquid Death is the Dogecoin of metal. Fucking thank you. It is a money grab. It's a funny gimmick. It works if you're at a party and you don't drink and you don't want to feel awkward. You can hold it and sip out of it and pretend like you're cool like everyone else, but no. Valderig says, I did buy some Iron Maiden beer set once. Wasn't bad. Still use a glass. That's different. That's beer. Beer plays a part. It gets you drunk. You feel like the band may have played a part in actually making it because Iron Maiden probably did. It's water. They also sell carbonated sodas as well. Beer, good. Yeah, that's the only takeaway to get out of this little tangent I just went on. Beer, good. Even though I might not drink anymore, I can still cheer on others. It is a grift and extortion. Also, Ice Mountain is the best water. Matt Griffin's like, Flint, baby. I'm on that dirty shit. I want all them chemicals. How else are you gonna get those superpowers, you know? Kinky Sizemore says, controversial opinion. Testament sounds like Mud live, and I refuse to see them ever again, like one long hum. You must have went to a really shit venue, because I've seen Testament plenty of times where I thought they sounded great. And I've stood right in front of them. Have you seen them at like different places, or just have like a really bad experience at that venue? Because that has not been my experience. What's your opinion on Screamo versus None for singing? I mean, I hate the Screamo sound in general, but that does bring up one opinion that I wrote down for me. Most of the time, 90% of the time, I fucking hate it when bands combine both extreme vocals and clean singing. It's not that it can't be done, it's that most of the time when it's done in this really, I call it crycore way, where it's like, I'm really aggressive, don't fuck with me. And then they're like, and now I'm singing because I'm sensitive on my parole, you know? And I cannot stand it. It's an immediate no to me. I can tell whenever I check out a band, put on a new video, I'm like, clean vocals are coming right here, and they always do, and I'm like, ah, fuck off. I know that's hot shit right now. A lot of people like that. There's lots of bands that people respect that do that. I hate that shit. And mostly when it's in the style of like metalcore, it's more the core aspect, I think, really, that does it. Because like Devin Townsend does it and does it well. I don't have any issue when he does it. There are plenty of vocalists that can do both styles, but man, I can't fucking stand it. Yeah, when a band goes into cry mode, it sounds like just a high school douche, like frat bro aggressiveness, and then, but now I'm crying. Fuzzy Fred says, how good a band is live is the most important thing to me about a band. I 100% agree. Like, if a band has a reputation for being bad live, I avoid them. Yeah, if a band had a really good record but had that reputation, I might still listen to the record. But I definitely agree with that. More than anything, I want to see how a band is live. I agree with, there was a quote from Lemmy who was like, if you don't play live, you're not a real rock and roll band. I was like, yep, that's pretty much how I feel. I want to play live as a musician. I want to listen to how the band is live to hear what they can really do. I fucking love so many great live albums that are out there. Sleep Token is R&B with obnoxious breakdowns every now and then. 100%. How would you categorize Sleep Token? Boring as shit is how I would categorize them. I tried to give him a chance. That's the same type of thing. As soon as the vocals kicked in, I was like, nope. Nope. King Crow says, my two hot takes. Ghost is astroturfed horseshit, and Lars was right and based about digital music. For the most part, yeah, I would say I would agree. I do not understand how Ghost got as huge as they are. I did like them when they came out. With their third album really got me, and I saw them live during that touring cycle and loved it. And then they took a huge drop off. That's when Tobias kind of pulled a coup and took over the band and kicked everybody out. When that whole thing started and the Nameless Ghouls were suing him, there was an interview where the members were saying that Tobias basically behind their back took over everything legally and without telling him. And Tobias's answer to that, I saw in an interview, he basically was like, yeah, I did. I was able to do that, so I did. It's like, all right. Damn. Lars was right. Yeah, honestly, I mentioned that in a video before, and I got a bunch of retard comments of people being like, "Oh, you're gonna back Lars." I'm like, no, look at what bands make now. Look at how much of a disaster touring is, let alone album sales and shit. Yeah, he was 100% right. As much as I utilize streaming, he was still right. As short as he was still right. Night Fox says, hot take, Ronnie Radke is the modern day Axl Rose without having the misfortune of being Axl Rose. He tries. He's doing his best. That's a good comment. That was one of my hot takes that I did write down. Is that'll piss people off immediately. My hot take, Ronnie Radke is not a bad person. You get such hate from people as soon as you mention the name of people who don't like him for his personality, which is completely fine and understandable. You know, I don't give a fuck if someone's not a fan of Ronnie Radke or finds him annoying. Fine. That's a personal opinion. But the amount of retarded comments you get from people like, he's a mass murderer, he abuses people, like he's the worst person out there. I've made videos, talking about shitheads in music on like the Timbaland bassist did a video, the sadist guy, and I think both times got comments from people being like, oh, he would be great hanging out with Ronnie Radke, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's weird how much people hate him, and for people to say that he's untalented, that is just cope from not liking him. Again, find him annoying, fine. I personally think he's kind of funny, but if you find him annoying, whatever. But he does all types of music. He does the metal vocals, the emo, which meh, but he raps. The guy undeniably has talent, whether you like him or not. And I find it so strange that people just freak the fuck out over him when he's nowhere near a worse, like, dangerous musician out there. There's so many other people that people happily listen to those bands that have members that are provably worse than Ronnie Radke. Lil Jon says, I think he's a fucking idiot. However, I did catch him at a fest like a decade ago and he put on a hell of a show. See, I think that is a perfectly fair criticism. I don't really think he's a fucking idiot. He acts immature. But that's a personal opinion. So that's fine. You're not being like, oh, he's the most dangerous fucking evil person out here. He just kills everybody at his shows. Josh L says, apart from a few bands, hardcore sucks. That's probably my most controversial opinion. I would tend to agree. There's very few that I like. I love the shit out of Sick of It All, if you count them. But newer stuff like Knocked Loose and everything, it's not for me. I'm not gonna give people shit if they're a fan of it. I'm not gonna like point and laugh, but it does not work. I feel like Stan in that South Park episode when he's just hearing shit sounds. William says, hot take, bassist, change the freaking strings or you're getting replaced with tracks. 100%. Xavier says Axl Rose, Fred Durst, and Ronnie Radke are the trinity of metal goofballs. That sounds like the most fun weekend in Vegas I've ever heard of. I want that to be my bachelor party. That sounds like a blast. We'll invite Hunter Biden too. That will just be loads of fun. Xavier says, my opinions, Emily is a good vocalist. Falling in Reverse is a good band. And emo and pop punk are the same genre. Also, Motley Crue should retire. Lars is an okay drummer. And Elitists are Swifties. I disagree about Emily. I agree about Falling in Reverse. The emo one's just kind of, yeah. Motley Crue should have been retired a long fucking time ago. Disgusting that they even came out. Brian Garris from Knocked Loose sounds like Mickey Mouse being castrated. It does kind of give off that vibe. It doesn't have the Fry screams that I like. It has the I'm getting my balls beaten with an ice pick sound. It's not for me. Substitute Metalhead says, hot take, it's okay to buy merch from outside vendors than inside merch due to pricing, unless you want to support the band. I am definitely not above doing that. I would say that when it comes to huge bands like playing arenas, yeah, I am gonna do that. I don't care. If it's like small bands who actually could use the money and need the help, then definitely I would reconsider that. But I hardly ever buy band merch anymore just because of the fucking pricing. I don't want to spend $35, $40 on a fucking t-shirt. That is stupid. I remember when they were 20 and 25. Oh, god damn it. Here's another one that I wrote down. Another one of my controversial hot takes. Most metal nowadays is actually afraid to offend, afraid to push the line, afraid to take shots and actually be outrageous and controversial. Now, back in the day, back in the 70s, 80s, even 90s, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the Western world was much heavier under like a Christian iron grip. So things like Satanism and songs that are just blatantly demons from hell, woo! Were a lot more shocking and crazy at the time. Now, in 2024, when you see bands doing it, isn't it kind of lame? Is there a good newer band of the last 10 years that sings about like Satan and demons where you're actually like, whoa, they're saying something or they're actually like good? Like I said, metal was built from authenticity, and then like everything, it's kind of gone into its own kind of conformist lane, I guess you could say. Because you stand up on stage and offend Christians now. Ooh, who gives a shit? Where bands that are singing songs that are offensive to like Muslims or Jews or other countries or other religions, there's more. There's other things that people really freak the fuck out about that metal bands don't touch at all. That kind of does go along with the like standing up for yourself, being true, being independent, but then you're only touching on the subjects that you're allowed to. You're only offending the groups that you've been offending forever. It's not impressive anymore. I'm not even saying like, stop, leave them alone. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like spread the hate. Be equal opportunity offenders. What's the issue? I want to hear songs about like we killed Jesus and then we killed Muhammad and blah. No one's off limits. So yeah, you see that nowadays in my comment sections when I get these stupid ass comments from people being like, I can't believe you were mean about this band or you said a joke that was really offensive. So it's like you can sing songs about smashing people's faces in with a hammer and setting nuns on fire, and that's fine. But then saying something deemed, offensive nowadays is a problem. Saying something that people could deem as transphobic or Islam is xenophobic, fucking whatever. Rather than just, I feel like everyone should be on the chopping block equally. Metal needs more hate. It just needs to be spread. That's all I'm saying. Christians won't bomb the place usually. Yeah, well, so we need a modern day G.G. Allen. I mean, I don't know about like criminally assaulting people, but I mean in terms of like offensiveness. Pervertin says, I don't agree with racial hate. Religious hate isn't my forte, but I won't complain. I mean, I don't agree with either, honestly. But if one group has been deemed okay to make fun of, write lyrics on in an offensive way, then I feel like, all right, then everyone's on the table. And without meaning, Cannibal Corpse doesn't mean their lyrics of rape and torture and kill. I'm not saying there should be like a fucking, Ku Klux Klan band out there or anything. But I'm just saying, like, it's expected. Oh, we're an offensive metal band because we say fuck yeah, Satan. It's like, no one cares. Nobody cares anymore. Pervertin says, that's what my thinking was. As a Jew, I want to hear some crazy things about us that could be metal as hey. See? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm all for that. I think it's fun. It's funny people mentioning Saint Anger right now. Before I'd ever heard that album or song, I'd been told that it was terrible. And then I remember putting on the song, and the beginning has a pretty good drum, like fast part. And I was like, what are people saying? This sounds cool. And then it immediately was like, oh, nope. Never mind. Holy shit. It's like getting in a decent car that just explodes immediately. Xavier says more rappers should be in metal, handled in a good way with the offensive and crazy stuff. It's funny because part of me completely agrees with gatekeeping, but part of me also agrees that like rap could be really good with metal if done in a good way. Usually it's just really shittily thrown together, like the rap's just layered on top of an already done song. If they were actually built together and intertwined, I think it could be really good. Like there's a little band out there that actually did this really well, you might know of, called Limp Bizkit. Bands lie to you all the time. This can continue along with my a lot of the shtick of be true and not give a shit, and it's all about the fans. The amount of times that bands and like PR people lie to fans all the time of like, this tour suddenly got canceled due to unforeseen circumstances, or a member getting kicked out, all of this falling on hard times and the problem happening where they need to start a GoFundMe. Like I said, not every time, not that a band puts up a GoFundMe is it a scam or anything. Not every time a tour gets canceled it was actually some bullshit reason, but it happens a lot. Yes, we did record real drums. No, we didn't use AI at all. Tim and Bisis would never lie to us. Bands lying to you. Example 1, Mike Shinoda. Example 2, anything good about Motley Crue. Pretty much. Yeah. Like Tank has covered before how venues are with their merch fees. Sometimes it's really shit. It is a genuine problem. But sometimes there are bands who capitalize off of that and start their own like separate shady tip thing on the side, or tell fans a certain thing that might not be true. Reunion tours, that's a huge one. That's a fucking huge one. We're like, some band did come out and admit recently that some farewell tour they did was 100% just to get people to buy tickets. I am serious, and Don't Call Me Shirley. One of the funniest movies of all time. Yeah, that one band that faked cancer recently. There you go. Not saying it happens all the time, but it does. And Category 7 also just announced their cancellation of their tour claimed by Exhorder. I don't know about that. Unforeseen circumstances, Sick New World. You mean 10 million for Scientology books and trash cans for LAR? Yeah, as much as I worship at the altar of King Diamond, he canceled a lot of shows on this most recent tour, and the only excuse for any of it was due to unforeseen circumstances. And the rumor going around everywhere was that they weren't selling well. The show I went to was pretty packed, but that was in LA, which is pretty much a given. So that's one example. I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to fans to just give a, hey, cancel it, sorry. I mean, I would rather hear even it didn't sell well, we're trying, but it's not, it would screw us if we did go out there. I understand that more than just being like, I didn't work out. In this economy, I understand why a band would do a reunion tour just to make money. Fair enough. That's actually a decent answer. William Buckley, narrator. The circumstances were, in fact, foreseen. Not having the money is, in fact, a foreseen circumstance. Kinky Sizemore says, I think the King Diamond tour was a disaster. There may have been 300 people at the 1,000 seat plus seat theater in Louisville Marysville. Damn. Yeah, that's what I heard, which fucking sucks. The LA one was good, but the LA show's gonna be good for pretty much everybody. That's a bummer because I worship King, but I feel like he just doesn't get the respect, the attention nowadays that I feel he's deserving of. But that sucks. Night Fox says, "You want controversial? Fine, let's have Death Clock do what they did on the show, but for real this time and have a show on the border of Syria and Israel, assuming one of them is still around. I support this notion. Let's drop a metal festival right in the middle of the Middle East war, and that will cause everyone to come together in peace and harmony." That would work. I said in one of my streams before that we need a wall of death that on one side is Russia and the other side is Ukraine, and that is how we solve this problem. Because all the overly aggressive ones get knocked out immediately, then all of the more friendly ones just band together in brotherhood of metal and world peace across the land. You're welcome. Savior of metal speaks again. Exactly. Like the South Park episode where Van Halen comes in. Exactly. That would be my plan. Mega Malarkey says, "Controversial opinion, metalcore is the pop music of metal." That's not controversial, it's fact. That is just a fact. That's why I can't dig it. It's so much of current day metal, especially what's hot in America, is just so processed, neatly packaged, put together to not be as rough around the edges as possible. But yeah, a lot of metal nowadays, as soon as I turn it on, I can tell if I'm actually gonna be connected with it or not. Josh L says, "It was rough seeing King Diamond cancel all those dates when they skipped Philly, and he always gets a huge crowd here." Yeah, man, I don't know. It sucks. I'd say maybe it's the tour, but like people still like Overkill a lot. They killed it at Milwaukee Metal Fest. If we put together if they put together a really hot tour that had King and some other like current bands, maybe that would work. But I don't know. It is a bummer. What else did I write? That's most. I've got two more. This one's mentioned now is pretty light. The other one I think is probably my most controversial one, but I think we'll add for a good discussion. Hopefully, maybe we're all tired and we want to just go drink eggnog and watch Christmas movies. I might do that later. That actually sounds nice. With December, Christmas time, it's so hard not to be lazy. I've been sitting around playing Hogwarts Legacy, being just the evil Sith Lord that I can be in that game. It's hard to be productive now. We're metalheads are like bears. We're just hibernating with beer and entertainment. Anyway, Blood Red said, "Is it controversial to say deathcore sucks? It's one of the most samey metal subgenres ever. Same band just takes all the stuff that made Suffocation Cryptopsy and made it shit." I wasn't expecting that ending. Yeah, I mean, I'm picky with the word suck. To me, sucks means like you are untalented. And it's hard for me to say that deathcore bands, metalcore bands are untalented. Even if I hate their music, most of the time they're talented. But I don't like the sound most of the time, to be fair. It sounds so like, okay, we're gonna get the heaviest drop we can and the most TikTok worthy brutal scream. But that's it. It's not really pushing an envelope. It's just like, okay, how loud can this bomb go off this time? But it doesn't impress me. It doesn't move me. And it does for other people. I have plenty of friends who listen to bands like that. And there's always mixes. Like I do like Slaughter to Prevail for the most part, but as a whole, I don't really like deathcore much at all. Path of Exile 2 is all I've been doing this week. 9. I got an early Christmas gift, birthday present for myself. I bought the Steam Deck. Dude, fuck the Nintendo Switch. The Steam Deck blows that shit out of the water. I can pick it up right now and play Halo 2. Fucking best thing ever made. Anyway, Irish Marauder says, "Someone needs to make heavy metal Chris movie. That would be awesome." That could work if it's done well. Does Krampus count? Because it's awesome. There's no metal in it, but it's just dark and cool as shit. I have a metalcore friend. I don't know what you're talking about. Fuck the Steam Deck. Get a ROG. Ali shits on. I don't even know what that is. I'm not the most hippest gamer, but hey. What did I want to bring up? Oh, my light take that I mentioned before actually. Signs at concerts are awful. I hate when you see someone with a sign saying like, "Can I play this song on guitar?" or whatever. It was cute when it first happened. Some kid with cancer holding up a sign wanting to play a guitar riff before they died. You know, very emotional. Everyone can support that. But now you see it so often, see it all the time, and it's awkward. It's not cute anymore. It's awkward. You're trying to like take over the show for yourself. It's really weird. Like if you are a Make-A-Wish kid, you can hold up a sign at a concert. Otherwise, don't hold blow up a fucking sign. It's lame. It's stupid. Don't do it. You're pissing off people around you. If the band doesn't acknowledge it, you're gonna feel bummed out. If the band does acknowledge it, it's kind of lame. King Crow, unless you are terminally ill or disabled, leave your sign the fuck home. 100% agree. I 100% agree with that statement. It's like, okay, you're just like some dude now who learned to play the riff. You're gonna interrupt the entire show. All right, you know, if the band just happened to pull you up, fine. But yeah, that shit's lame as fuck. We're being invaded. What? Night Fox says, I saw a kid with a sign at Aftershock that said, "Who wants to join me in the kids' mosh pit?" What the fuck? Oh, you mean like just a little kid? Okay, maybe that's better than, yeah. William Buckley says, absolute inverse of that. I saw In Flames in '06 or something. Andrew saw a dude in front talking smack. Why would you do that? Then pulled him up on stage and said, okay, you sing this one instead. Then he just left. That is ballsy. I would have loved to have seen that. That's hilarious. Culturally appropriating dying culture. Jesus Christ. We're better than this, people. Come on. Chipo says, I saw this vid recently. I forgot where or what band it was on, but there was this activist interrupting a vocalist for some political reason and got the vocalist mad and left stage early. Yeah, don't fucking do that ever. Whatever your political opinion is on anything, don't fucking do that, you piece of shit. If I was playing a show and someone did that for a cause that I 1000% agreed with, I would still want to kick him in the head. That's fucking bullshit. I can't stand that shit. Main character syndrome is a son of a bitch. Exactly. Know your place. Everyone can have their moment on stage, but doesn't mean every moment is. God damn it. Don't throw things at musicians. For instance, some random guy throwing mustard packets at Mike Sonoda. That's weird. Yeah, definitely don't do that. You will get musicians pissed off. The band doesn't want your garbage. Yeah. Mega Malarkey says, crowd killing is cringe, and I'm not talking about in the pit, but don't just assault people outside of the pit. Yeah, if it's a show that doesn't call for that, there is entire like underground scenes where that's just fucking what they do. And I'm not gonna go to like a hardcore show and complain about that happening, but at the same time, I'm probably not gonna go to that show and stand near the people who are doing that because I agree. I don't want to get hit in the face like that. I like the movement of the mosh pit. I'm not there to just get fucking fists thrown into my eye. Not really controversial. It's a fact for anyone who's had the experience. Punk shows are far more violent than metal shows. 100%. You will get way more injured moshing at a punk show than you will at a fucking metal show. People always think metal is the most extreme. No, it's punk show. Nightland says, I think I speak for everyone when I say if you're not at a hardcore show or whatever, the fuck don't suplex people, you barbaric ape. Yeah, 100% I agree with that. You know? If it's a thing that's just known that's going to happen at the show, then fine. But yeah, don't come to a metal show, metal festival doing that and people lose their shit. At Metal and Beer this past year, some douchebag was hardcore dancing for Crowbar. That's weird. I mean, express your love of music however you want, but that's not really fitting, I think. Sam says, too much metal has become mainstream and commercialized. Yep, that's exactly what I was saying. All of the like, be true to yourself, don't take any shit, but our manager told us we have to do this, and the record label wants this, and our fans want this, and we have to do what's approved of. We're not actually challenging. Time heals nothing, especially this. Kicks, wheelchair kicksy. William says, I might have been roundhouse kicked at more than one hardcore show, but I've only ever broken a bone at Twilight Force. That's a you problem. That's more of a Buckley conundrum than it is things that are actually going to happen. This man did play in a hardcore band to some crazy crowds, and he broke his foot prancing for Twilight Force on the deck of a cruise ship. It does happen. Survival of the fittest at punk shows. That is 100% what it is, yeah. You know, at metal, it's like there's the pit, but besides that, you're pretty much fine. Punk, it is more likely to just spread out everywhere and go crazy. My dad and mom used to go to punk shows at CBGB's back before I was born. Those are real hardcore people. Mom almost got brain damage from getting hit in the head. Punk shows are pretty violent. Yep, that's what I'm saying. That does not surprise me at all. But punk shows are World War I battlefields. I mean, there are metal shows like that too. Slayer shows were fucking insane for sure. Anyway, my last controversial topic, the one I want people's opinions on because it does appear to be quite a hot take nowadays, I think. Racism in metal. No, don't click X. I'm not going on a woke tirade here because I strongly disagree with the notion that metal has a racism problem. A lot of people who are big into metal always like to tout that metal has an underlying racism problem, that it's, you know, a white people thing and minorities aren't welcomed in or whatever fucking garbage. Cancel speedrun. We're done. Bye, everyone. My channel's been deleted. Nah. So now this comes up in articles, conversations often whenever there's some event where there's some concert article comes up. Oh, someone said a thing that was offensive or whatever. Now, are there racist people in the world? Yes. Is there a baby kitty walking behind me? Also, yes. Anyway, of course there are racist people in the world, which is not fun. I like more diverse groups of people, actually diverse, not the fucking woke like takeover of the word, but actually different ones, which is why I push back against this, because metal is one of the few genres where people from other cultures can actually bring in elements of their culture into the music. Bands like Bloodywood, bands from all of Scandinavia, bands from South America, there are bands from Africa, there's bands from the Middle East, and all of these bands are metal. Fucking asshole is really annoying. I don't know if you can hear that sound. And all these bands are metal. They count as really metal, and they bring this unique cultural aspect into it that you don't really find in other genres of music. If you find it in like pop or rap, it's really processed, pandering garbage like you see with pretty much all Hollywood entertainment nowadays. I feel like metal is one of the few places that actually embraces real, genuine diversity of culture, which is why I do push back strongly on this whole notion that metal has a racism problem. If some white person at a metal show is a dick to a black guy, does that really mean that there's a racism problem in all of metal? Or does it mean that that guy is a dickhead? Because if I'm at a show and one person does one thing that's stupid, I don't see how that's a reflection on me, on other people at the show. I view it as that guy's a fucking dickhead, you know? I mean, clearly, you can see my skin color. I'm quite pale. But that said, I've never been to a show where there was a big racist problem where I saw people were getting harassed because of their race or anything. Especially nowadays, it's hard to take any of those reports seriously because anything can be seen as racism nowadays. If someone says they experienced racism at a metal show, did they actually, or did someone say something that they thought was a microaggression, or they interpreted something wrong? I saw a while ago, I don't know if this really counts as on like the racism, well, kind of, but there was this viral thing going around a couple months ago that some girl was harassed and chased out of a concert, maybe not chased out, but I think was encouraged to leave because she had a Burzum patch on her jacket, and everyone I saw was shitting on this person, saying oh, they're a Nazi band, Varg is a white supremacist, so she should know better and bullshit. And I was like, that's fucking repulsive. I don't like Burzum, I don't like Varg, but I would absolutely never try to make someone feel uncomfortable and try to leave because they had a fucking Burzum patch on their jacket. So that's what I mean. If someone says they experienced racism at a concert, did they actually experience someone being racist to them, which I would say go ahead and punch them in the dick if that's the case, or was someone wearing a Burzum patch and they got upset? You know, it just I've seen that go around a lot, and I've been to metal festivals all over the world. I've talked with metalheads from all over the world. I love studying other cultures, and seeing the African metal scene is really fucking cool to me. And so maybe it's because I view it on a more global picture of the whole big picture. How does metal have a racism problem if it's that international and cultural? Some people maybe view it just from their own, maybe they went to one show when someone was an asshole to them. And I'm not cool with that. I don't support racism, if that needs to be said. And quite funnily enough, I'm actually a better non-racist than any of the woke people try to argue, because I have had actual conversations with people who are self-proclaimed racist about the merit of racial supremacy in any form. And I don't agree with it. Taking out the rage of that's fucking horrible. I'm looking, okay, just on paper, it mathematically doesn't make sense to me. And I've had that conversation with people. So yeah, it's maybe because I view it like that. I posted something about this one time, and someone left a comment saying that you might know a few select cool people who aren't racist, but metal overall does have a racism problem still. And I was like, no, you might know a few dickheads in your area, but metal as a whole is fine. I don't know of any places where anyone who's not white would not be allowed. You know, I mean, there are, quote, neo-Nazi black metal bands and shit, and you can have a problem with that. I'm not going to tell you not to, but that's not a main thing in metal. Those bands aren't on major festivals. They're not on major tours. It's a really niche, very underground thing. I just push back heavily on that notion that metal has a racism problem. Strongly disagree. Maybe people are confused by that because I also say that that metal is not a genre that was just for white people. It was started in England in like the 70s when the population was mostly white, but it was started with African-made instruments, and they were inspired by blues artists and jazz artists and shit. Yeah, taking out all of the rage from media that people are supposed to be like, you know, kill all racists at any motion, like lose your fucking head over it. I'm just like calmly looking at it on paper. I genuinely do not agree with any form of racial supremacy. So, that being said, seeing how culturally huge metal is, I don't see where an issue is. If you go to a show and someone is racist to you because of your race, kick him in the dick, throw beer on him, whatever. That's fucked up. But I see that as a problem with that person. Or if the band was shouting it, then, you know, that band member. But I don't take that as metal as a whole. One guy being a dickhead at a show in bumfuck Ohio does not represent me. It doesn't represent all these other people. I am going to close my door with this annoying fucking engines out here. What is a distraction we can play during this? Bill, distract him for a second.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Thank you, Bill. I'll take it from here. Talking about a white man saying that there's no racism problem, then playing a clip from Bill O'Reilly. This will go well. Nightland says, if you're racist at a metal show, you will get the shit beat out of you rightfully. Pretty much. Yeah. Go to a metal show in Germany with a swastika. See what happens. You won't last long. I actually did see that at the last time I went to Vakken. There was some dude that had like a swastika patch somewhere, and there was like several security guys watching him. I didn't see what happened after that, but imagine thinking metal has an offensive problem in 2025. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm saying too. Yeah, someone mentioned The Who. I think that's a great example. A Mongolian metal band using traditional instruments is an example of Mongolian culture in metal music. Then you have Windrose bringing dwarven culture from Lord of the Rings into metal music. That's not from Lord of the Rings. Those are real dwarves. They're just singing about their ancestors and their quest to Moria and the Lonely Mountain. That's a true story. I don't know what you're talking about there, but yeah, that's my example, or that's my statement on it. I completely am on board the hating on the shit, pandering bullshit out of Hollywood and their claim to want to be diverse and representative and just being hollow plastic corporate shells of bullshit. That said, I think metal actually really can and does embrace other cultures in a great way. And that is my biggest hot take. Living Colour did some metal as fuck stuff in the 90s. Yeah, I think I saw them actually. Yeah, and that's always been a thing. There's always been, people say that if you go to concerts, it's mostly white people. If you're in predominantly white countries, maybe. If you go to South America, you're probably not going to be filled with white people at the concerts. If you go to Asia, it's probably not going to be. So I 100% push back on that notion that metal has a racism problem, while at the same time, I definitely push back and just genuinely don't agree with actual racism. So that's good. Metal is more accepting than any other genre ever. It transcends language or race or religion. Yeah, I don't know about ever, but I agree with the premise of what you're saying. You know, you've listened to metal from in other languages that you don't understand that's still powerful for you, and you go to the concert and you're still there with everyone and connected to it, you know? That's my point. If you're in Scandinavia, you could have guessed it'd be mostly white. No way! What? And then when you go to India, it's mostly going to be Indians. What? Wow. Metal unites people. We are all one big happy family. Yep, that is how I view it. Who's vacuuming? These fucking yard people are here. It's really annoying. Sorry. We'll play another clip. You know what? Boo the yard man. Where is it? Boo the yard man.
Boo this man!
We're all black on the line. That's a good call. Yeah, metal is life, metal is more diverse, metal is forever. There you go. With this engine, if that's really loud and annoying, I've covered all the subjects. Trying to ruin the show. I start talking about racism, but now the show's getting interrupted. Isn't that interesting? Boo the yard man. Boo this simple man is trying to make a living. I'm trying to talk shit on YouTube. Some of us have important things to do, sir. Making me go full Scrooge here. Can't hear shit here. Good noise suppression. Well then. Hey Wyatt, boo anti-metal club. I hope want to see this. I've heard the name mentioned, but I don't know who that is. Marco says, to be fair, 95% of the people at all those shows I've been to are white, but I've seen people of other races there, myself included. Yeah, there you go. Like, I don't see an issue on, like, if it's mostly that, but, like, does it not allow others? Because then it would be racist. Who wants nachos? That's my thought on it. Boo, you probably nice individual trying to make a living. Boo this! It's right before Christmas. We're gonna boo this yard worker. Controversial. Anti-elitism is more annoying than elitism itself. You know, I might agree with that. I would have you elaborate your view, but just on that take, I would kind of agree with that. I'm so fucking sick of all of the soapbox standing crap of like all the bands who had a problem with download with the sponsor after they all agreed to play downloads. Like, okay, you're so cool. Marco said, like I said, let people like what they like. Your interests have nothing to do with your skin color. Yep, 100%. Totally agree. For more from me, check out my band Dark Insanity. You can find us on Instagram, on Spotify, on all of the streaming platforms, on Bandcamp as well. We have our EP Rabid Psychosis out now. We've got merch available for the channel and for the band. Now you can get White's Metal t-shirts, Savior of Metal hats, Dark Insanity t-shirts, Dark Insanity weed bags. We've got everything. Links for all of my stuff can be found in the description of this video. Anyway, that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video.